My greatest opponents in the real sense of the word are the obedient.
Why should Nigerians trust your political loyalty?
Correct.
When it seems like you are here, you go here, you go here.
99.9% of the political actors in Nigeria today, minimum, have changed parties 3 times. Minimum. My father would say, beat them first before you ask them questions. The All Progressives Congress, as progressive, we believe it's strongly in intervention. If you look at the government of PDP in the past, they were not very emphatic about it because they believe so much in free market economy to the extent that they believe the rich can be richer and nobody cares about the poor. I say Peter Obi was in Apuga, and in Apuga he said he was never going to leave Apuga, that his family will die if he left.
Yes, I saw that video. Yeah.
Peter Obi left to PDP, and Peter Obi left PDP to Labour. When he moved to Labour, he called PDP structure of criminality. Peter Obi's movement has nothing to do with the interests of the people.
But there are good deeds that he does. Gives 100 million to this, to the streets.
He never give 100 million from Adam. I know he gives 5 million. Peter Obi has ever given beyond 50. And even that 50 he gave, I can tell you the circumstances behind it. But let me tell you, he came to the Northwest and North Central that time after the election, and places where they didn't have water, and he wanted to create borehole. You know the type of borehole Peter Obi gave them money to produce? Caveman days borehole, where somebody will climb and be bouncing like this, like a strip club. He'll be bouncing like that before water go come out. Tell me the first time you have ever seen Peter Obi in any workers' strike or rally, protest or marching.
This episode of the Clarity Zone podcast is brought to you by Zobis Electrical Nigerian Limited, the makers of Zobis Cable.
What's up, guys? You are officially welcome to yet another incredible and jam-packed episode of the Clarity Zone podcast. This is the space where clarity thinks, we speak, and of course, together, collectively, we heal. Now, as usual, I cannot do it by myself. Joining me is the man that you love to hate, or should I say hate to love. He's the Oga at the top. My boss, my chairman, Odogu, follow come charger, 60-foot container on a highway, even on a camel's back, he thrives. This man has more lives than a cat. Is the one and only Nedu.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Clarity Zone podcast. This is our first episode that we're shooting in Abuja. Shout out to everyone in Abuja and also in the north. All my people in Kaduna State, where I grew up. All my people in Naija, Suleja, Jigawa, Jos. In fact, if you are from the north, shout out to every one of you. This episode is proudly brought to you by Zobis Electrical Nigerian Limited. Zobis Cable. They have the strongest cable in Nigeria. As the episode is going, you're going to be seeing flash ads from Zobis Cable. Ngwa.
Yes, sir. My name is Bibi Ray, of course, like I mentioned earlier on. And I do believe that being a Nigerian is one of the best things that could have happened to me. It's the best thing that can happen to anybody as far as I'm concerned. Nigerians are known all around the world for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Whatever we do, whatever we put our hands to, we do excel. Whether it's medicine, whether it's music, whether it's law, or whether it's the stuff that we don't like to talk about too much. But of course,
all of us know it.
All of us know it. We all know it, and it is what it is. But the title of this episode today is Understanding Our Leaders, because like I said, Nigerians are incredible people, but it's great to, or it's important to understand what makes us the way that we are. What makes us so resilient? What makes us so strong, so talented, and of course, so intelligent too. It is my honor to introduce a man whose voice resonates at the very heart of the national discourse. A policy analyst, he is also an articulate statesman. Dr. Daniel Bwala is not only a seasoned legal practitioner with over 2 decades of experience, but he is also the spokesperson to His Excellency, that is, of course, our President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Dr. Bwala plays a pivotal role in shaping public communication and, of course, driving the administration's message of renewed hope, progress, and national unity. Renowned for his incisive commentary and also intellectual clarity, he has become a trusted voice both in the legal and political circles in our great nation. So once again, Dr. Daniel Bwala, welcome.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me. In fact, this kind of introduction, when you hear, all you do is just take your mattress and sleep. I say, I've rest my case.
I've done it all.
It's a pleasure to be here. And thank you very much.
Absolutely. It's great to have you here. So let's start from the very beginning, or the beginning, as you say.
In the beginning.
In the beginning. Let's get to know the man behind the numerous titles. So who is Dr. Daniel Bwala beyond the titles, and what moments shaped the man that we see in front of us today?
Well, Daniel Bwala is my name. I'm a Nigerian. So in the code, usually when you write in affidavit, there's this introduction where you say, I am Daniel Bwala, male, a Nigerian citizen of number XYZ. So that's how I think I introduce myself. First of all, a Nigerian from Borno State, Hawu local government in particular. And so that's about it.
That's it.
Yes,
Nice and
that's
simple.
it. That's my name.
That is who the man is, okay?
And also a very jolly good fellow.
Thank you.
Very big. Oga, you be talking to Oga before, you be thinking, he's Oga I'm talking to, but Oga is calling me Oga. Oga is calling me Oga. You go to Oga will be calling you, Your Excellency. I say, Kilo Chele, who is Excellency? Oga, you dey laugh, you know what we're talking about.
Absolutely. On a very serious note.
I think that excellency is a mark of respect, right? Is in my view, it is sort of is courtesy. I know that generally in our day-to-day life, that appellation or that title usually is given to certain individual. But in my own view, excellency is somebody that you believe has distinguished himself in what he's doing. Excellence in what he's doing. So if you say your excellency to someone, I don't think you are giving more than what the person deserves.
I say, if I tell you, come my mind, you go pursue me for this office.
Nedu, don't talk.
Somebody they excel in what they are doing. Another person come my mind.
Nedu, don't talk. And with that being said,
I will not say what
Nedu,
I
we're in
want.
Abuja.
Yeah, we're in
we
Abuja.
need to behave.
Yeah, we need
we're
to
with His
behave.
Excellency.
Yeah.
We need to also be excellent to be.
We need to be excellent in our behavior.
Excellent.
I mean, so growing up, I've always wanted to ask you this question. Growing up,
Right.
I mean, you must have thought of different things you wanted to be.
Right.
Maybe you wanted to be a doctor, you wanted to be a pilot, you wanted to be what was in your head?
So when we were growing up, usually you're influenced by your environment, and then the people from your environment who sort of shape your narrative, shape your perspective and perception about life. So when I was growing, first of all, I was an avid footballer. So I wanted to play for
Notice about
Nigeria.
Man U.
Now I'm a Chelsea fan, but growing up, I hope you don't support this club they called
Arsenal.
I'm an Arsenal fan.
Oh,
Why did you say oh?
I know.
I forgive you.
So you wanted to play for Nigeria?
Yes, I wanted to play for Nigeria. I was very good in playing. I could sacrifice my food just to play football. Wow. I was playing from morning till evening. I was very, very good at that. And then when you start going to school, then you start thinking of a career aside from sports. At first, I wanted to be an aeronautic engineer.
Okay.
Because then when we hear about people in space and stuff like that. But then as you begin to grow, you begin to adapt to certain realities and then look at what you have from within as your energy, because after all is said and done, you are driven by the passion and the direction that you're going. But what I remember my late father used to say when I was small is anytime we were in a problem, when we were caught in a problem, my father would say, beat them first before you ask them question. Because if you ask them question, by the time I start to explain, he said, at the end of the day, you will be confused. So you would just believe that we were innocent. We were just wrongly accused.
Yes.
Then one day he told my mom, if this boy does not become a lawyer, he'll be useless in life.
Oh, wow.
I was very, very small. It was much more later my mother told me as I began to study, law.
Wow.
And then, but also, I, as a born-again Christian and in my church, were into evangelism.
Yes.
So this advocacy where every time you're trying to persuade people on anything you're talking to people about. So I found that as the engine that supported my bid to become a lawyer. So public interest advocacy now became part and parcel of me. Yeah.
So let me say, if you be marketer now, if you be insurance marketer.
Yeah, what we're doing is we're marketing the government.
but you see, there's something, as you're answering these questions, you wanted to be a footballer, you support Chelsea, Bibi said our topic is understanding our leaders.
Right.
I think we've gone to the point as a country or as a people that we externalize our leaders. We think our leaders fell
We dehumanize them.
We dehumanize them. We
Absolutely.
think they are not human beings. They are not, maybe they fell from the sky. Not knowing that our leaders are us. They are part of us. They're humans like us. What are the things that you think people think leaders don't do, but leaders really, because if you be born again now, nobody go think say any government person. The person when the government born again, what then they lie? Government they lie. Then what my paragon?
Absolutely.
You know, let me tell you something about the dynamics of government. So we have theocracy generally in church, where some of us who come from the apostolic type ministry, where one person believes to be the founder of the church, he will say, "Thus saith the Lord." The Lord told me. Nobody questions him. Everybody just follow him. But in democracy, it is not about that. Everybody is entitled to question you as a leader, and you must explain. You must be accountable. You may not please all of them, but you must aggregate the expectation of the people and go with the majority of the expectation. Now, here is the problem about politics. That oftentimes people say politicians are liars or people in government are liars because they promise this, and as soon as they came to government,
Then
they
your face
renege on
front.
the promises. This is because you are trying to juggle with so many interests. Once you get into, so for example, you say, I want to do A, B, C, D. And a certain people voted into power. Others did not. But when you take on the responsibility in governance, you cannot turn your back from those who didn't vote for you, because now you're a public servant to serve everybody. Now, what these ones are expecting you to do might be in contradistinction with this other one. How do you juggle around?
True.
So when we see people like from the states where we copy most of our democracy and democratic struggle, and I see people like Tulsa Gabbard, for example, she was a Democrat, was involved in the politics, but then suddenly Joe Biden was not looking at her direction with Kamala Harris.
Yes.
And then she decided to go with the Republicans. And it was tough at the time. Donald Trump ended up winning. She's the national security. She's the director of the national security at the moment. If you look at somebody like Kennedy,
Yes.
he was a Democrat. Then suddenly he said he wanted to run as an independent.
Yes.
And while he was running, he then felt that everything was zeroing down to two people. So he started talking to people around Kamala to see if he can be part of the campaign, but he wanted to negotiate. They were not even going to give him attention. And then he contacted Donald Trump. Donald Trump was willing to have a sit down with him. They had a sit down. And then he switched to Donald Trump, a Republican. They now got into government. But one fundamental thing is that Tulsi Gabbard has not changed from being a Democrat or progressive.
Okay.
She is a progressive serving in a conservative, government. Same with what do you call it, Kennedy. In our climb, we have a fundamental problem of ideology with political parties.
Bam, EGA.
Yes, because this political party cannot definitively say this is what we subscribe to. And for example, in America,
Absolutely.
once you talk about the Republicans, they don't
You know
like
exactly what they
over-regulation.
stand. Yes.
They don't want over-taxation.
Absolutely.
They believe in strong economy. They believe in free market economy. They believe in fundamentalism of the American people. This is it with them. When you come to the progressive, the Democrat, they believe in rights, which has now extended to same-sex marriage and all that. They believe that there are certain class in the society that are so poor that you have to tax the rich to provide equilibrium, so to speak. They also believe in things like when they explain free speech and what they mean to be free speech. So growing up from childhood, you must have come up from a home where fundamentally they are Democrats
Or they are Republicans or they are liberals.
or they are liberals. Now in Nigeria, we have chapter 2, fundamental directive principles of state policy, which any party that comes to the government any party that comes into government wants to implement that. Take for example, if you ask me, there is a distinction between All Progressives Congress and People's Democratic Party.
Okay.
I can tell you that, but a lot of people won't see. Let me give you one example.
I feel like I want
I
to hear
would like
this.
to know.
I want to hear them.
The All Progressives Congress, as progressive, we believe it strongly in intervention.
Okay.
So that's why you see the government intervening in providing food. We did school feeding program. We did entrepreneurship type program.
Okay.
We give out money to people.
Okay.
We give out what other thing again about intervention, seedlings,
Okay.
so many things that the government is doing, which if you look at the government of PDP in the past, they were not very emphatic about it because they believe so much in free market economy to the extent that they believe the rich can be richer and nobody cares about the poor. So there's a little distinction there. And then number two, if you remember, I'll pick up something like, say, should I say, no, not power. Power may not be a good example of what I wanted to convey. But probably in the course of it, I will try to show a little bit of distinction. But in a general sense, everybody wants to improve the economy. Everybody wants to provide good education for the people. So PDP does not believe in giving things that we do as progressive, like NEL Fund.
Okay.
The children of the indigent can be funded to continue with their education. PDP, I can't recall when they were in power whether they introduced the things we have introduced in the area of cesarean section. So in public hospitals, a woman who wants to give to who wants to deliver, I don't know if that's the right word, but she has to go through this C-section. Government has paid for it.
Oh, now
you don't have to pay 1 kobo.
Wait, not vessel. So anybody who want gone through CS now, this our Tinubu government don't pay for them.
As long as it is government hospital all over Nigeria.
Are kidding me?
All over Nigeria. All over Nigeria.
But I'm just hearing that for the first time.
All over Nigeria. There is a strong subsidy on dialysis throughout Nigeria now.
Kidney dialysis.
I saw that. This is recent, isn't it?
Yes, a recent policy of government. So you see our intervention in, because we believe strongly that the society will grow, the economy will grow when the middle class is empowered. They are the drivers of the economy.
True.
We also believe that in the course of doing that, if you look at our history in Africa, where you have abject poverty in Africa, look at the data.
Yes.
So the only way we can lift people out of poverty is that while we give tax exemption to certain people in order to create more jobs, while we introduce like what we call the credit scheme, so people don't have to steal. If you want to buy a car, you're a civil servant, there is a way you can buy it. We also believe there is a greater population of Nigerians that are very, very poor, and their poverty is not caused by their lack of creativity, but by the circumstances they found themselves. And government must be a part of their life as they come up. So you must introduce intervention. Intervention is government doling out what they call freebies to the people in order to help the people rise. Because no society grows until a greater number of the people are above poverty level. True. So this is one of the other areas that you can.
But we have someone. So if somebody used to say that we have over 200 million Nigerians, about 200 million Nigerians are poor.
Yeah.
Now, because I mean, if all these things, how does it reflect on the society?
Yes.
When we don't really, I don't really see it, because everybody they complain right now. Everybody they find money.
Exactly. Everybody is complaining. People are saying that the government is insensitive to their plight. That the government and members of the government they don't know what's going on. They just don't see the suffering of the average man.
Yeah.
So what would you say to those people?
You know, I found that also majorly, as expressed by journalists from the television screen, right? Like a repetition of the same thing that was the conversation 2 years ago. Even though as a country we've shifted base, we are not where we are supposed to be, but we've left where we used to be.
Yes, true that.
Now, so when people say they don't feel the impact, I can understand with them. I will never be in denial, but it can be explained. It can be explained in the sense that before President Bola Tinubu took the oath of office, there were certain structures about fundamentals of the economy that died and decayed because they were not sustainable.
Okay.
Remember, we were paying subsidy.
Yes.
We were also subsidizing the forex. That's why people had that level of life that they were living at the time.
Okay.
But if you remember event leading to the election, Nigeria was bankrupt, as the late President Buhari talked about. All the places where we were borrowing, they lost confidence in giving us further money, because every time we come, they say, we can't keep borrowing you money to go and be paying salaries. You must invest in production. And that is what people have come to refer to as the Brentwood groups, the IMF. They say, we can't give you money until you have a clear objective on how you want to use the money to lift people out of poverty. So when the president took the oath of office, you remember, the foreign reserve was depleted.
Yes.
There was no money to run the government.
Yes.
Subsidy had already been removed to take effect in 6 months' time, sometime around June. So we needed to save Nigeria at the time. Now, you want to collect money, you can't get it anywhere until you have a clear-cut agenda on what you want to use it for, number one. Number two, we are using, I think, over $2 billion to subsidize Naira.
Ha!
Yes. And in terms of the fuel subsidy, there was actually a finding in the Senate that was in power before the new government, when they said over 64% of the subsidies were actually not going to the Nigerian people. That these subsidy stakeholders, the oil guys, were taking it outside the shores of Nigeria.
Wow.
So Nigeria was actually subsidizing both electricity, fuel, everything was subsidizing our neighbors.
But we're subsidizing. So as the federal government is giving the subsidy that is supposed to be used for the people, some group of people are putting it in their pockets.
Neat, straight.
Wow.
They call them, we call them subsidy racketeers.
But not just for oil, for power as well.
For power, in everything that government subsidizes.
So which means the subsidy that government does is not only for oil alone. There's subsidy for oil, there's subsidy for power, there's subsidy for education.
Yes.
There's subsidy everywhere.
Almost everything we were subsidized.
But the one we would hear, not only the oil, now we hear.
That's, and people always, they talk about that one, but don't be the only thing. So when the president had to take a bold decision, and he knew, if you check anywhere in the world where they use the word reform, economics will tell you, it is going to cause temporary hardship.
True.
Inconveniences, no part two.
Yes.
So the president now told the Nigerian people, have faith in what we're doing. I guarantee you, we will put this economy. Now, anytime you take that kind of decision, you need to provide what they call the cushioning effect, which is the intervention we talk about. If you remember, the president was sending bag of rice, transportation, we introduced the CNG bus, all kinds of policies in order to ameliorate the hardship of the people. But we're a nation of large population.
Not be lying.
So it will take time before it will go around. Like the CNG bus, the CNG initiative that we introduced. How many stations have those CNG installations?
Well, would be the people they enjoy them now? I never even see anybody where
exactly,
they enjoy
and
them.
even the bags of rice. A lot of people complain that they didn't. The problem
somewhere now.
The problem is with these
rice,
things that are put out to cushion the effects of the economic hardship on the Nigerian people. Oftentimes, you hear people complaining that they just don't simply receive it.
Let me give you a good example. When the policy was introduced, I think the bag of rice went to as much as 120,000 bag of rice. If you remember, about 2 years ago. Do you know how much the bag of rice now? Less than 60,000.
A bag of rice?
Yes.
So, bag of rice now is 60,000.
Yeah, some places 70, some 60. In my own area.
Nah, bag of rice. I've been
bag of rice is like 90,000.
Bag of rice with the stone inside. I'm just saying.
Rice. But what I'm saying is that you can see the gradual reduction in terms of the cost of the food items. And do you know one funny thing? In Kano, during that time when we've been juggling this issue, they discovered massive warehouse where certain businessmen wanted to frustrate government. So they bought them in large quantity, hoard them and kept them like that.
Wow.
What?
So it is not in the market. But I know that in my place, in my hometown, where some individuals gather some of these food crops, rice, maize, everything, that they are going to make money because the thing has gone up.
Yes.
And they suddenly realized that some of them were going for 50,000, 55. And they were complaining. So while they were complaining, that's how we know that these things are coming down.
Yes, like that was coming down.
As part of my advocacy also, we go around the country and we go to marketplaces because sometimes when you wait for people to give you a report, you hear different views.
Not be lying.
And when we do, we go to organic places. Not like you choose this person where they support me. You just go to the market, ask 1, 2, 3, 4 people.
May they tell you as it hot.
As it hot. You can have an idea. Then if you look at school, for example, I told you about the nail phone. Nail phone 2, over 400,000 are beneficiaries. But it's our intention to spread it to 1 million, and then with time, we even take it to private universities, not just government universities and polytechnics. So these are the policies, even with the cesarean section, so that you can expand it to now private hospitals. Because the reason why we now say it has to be government hospital, because if you can afford to go to private hospital,
you don't need government hospital.
The same thing with private university. The same thing with private university. So this is what the president is doing. But let me tell you, if you permit me, this report just came out. What we have achieved, they say only 2% of GDP is in oil. The president, if you remember last week, talked about how we met our revenue target by August.
Yes, I heard that.
And he said this is even from non-oil.
Yes.
That we didn't have to bother now about policies around the world because now we are trying to put ourselves in a position where we can survive.
Yes.
Good omen, right? The second one is that we have better capturing of entertainment sector where you have many youths that are involved and you know how much FX we are getting.
Yes.
We have higher volumes of local manufacturing due to weaker naira and reduced imports.
Yes.
We have 30% increase in non-oil import and 30% reduction in oil imports. Now, oil and gas industry, where Nigeria is a net exporter of the refined petroleum to the US, Saudi Arabia, and UAE, while we have become a new importer of crude oil. Disappearance of fuel queues with the ease of local production by Dangote etc. You see, if I keep showing you, see, even in the area of infrastructure, every part of Nigeria now, that is infrastructural development in every part of Nigeria.
There's one question I want to ask you before I come back to this thing.
Right.
A lot of people have said this thing. I don't know who I was talking to. I was like, oh, I'm going to shoot.
Yeah.
They said, who are you going to shoot? I said, I'm going to shoot one of my guy. Talk who they go shoot now. You don't worry, you will see the episode. Talk who they go shoot now. And I said, I'm going to shoot Oga Bwala. I said, oh, Daniel Bwala. Oh, that way be there PDP before. I said, yes. So, which brings me to the question.
Yeah.
I took Abubakar spokesperson in 2023. That was like 2 years ago. Now you are serving our dear President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Yeah.
You said a lot of things then.
Yeah.
And you're talking now.
Yes.
Why should Nigerians trust your political loyalty?
Correct.
When it seems like you are you go here, you go here. Like,
let me even tell you, funny part. Majority of the people who use that in social media against me and very vehemently, if you have noticed over the last four months, they are as quiet as somebody caught in
because you don't show workings.
Not only that, I'll tell you the shocking part. The people that they were hailing as their heroes have all been moving away from their political parties to another place.
Yes.
So then I now ask, how do you apply it disproportionately? Do you apply this principle disproportionately? Now, my greatest opponents in the real sense of the word are the obedient. And I'll tell you why.
Why?
The accusation is that Bwala was in APC. He complained about Muslims until he moved to PDP. He lacks ideology, anywhere believe is, and then he now came back to APC because they're in government, anywhere believe it. Bwala is changing political party he doesn't have. Then I say, hang on. I say, P2B was in Apuga.
Oh, no, Apuga.
When you say Apuga, they don't understand. With the deep tone, right? He was in Apuga.
Oh,
and in Apuga, he said he was never going to leave Apuga. That his family will die if he left.
Yes, I saw that video. Yeah.
Peter Obi left to PDP. And Peter Obi left PDP to Labour. When he moved to Labour, he called PDP structure of criminality. There was nothing their master didn't say about PDP when he moved to Labour. Then suddenly, Peter Obi is hobnobbing with the structures of criminality. And then while they are hobnobbing the structures of criminality, then Peter Obi now came out boldly and said he has moved to ADC. So I asked them the question, who were attacking me? Bwala has never contested. Bwala is an ordinary Nigerian. I contested for many years here. But ordinary Nigerian. You are now applying what you think to be principle on him, right? Now your master has moved to about 5 minimum. And as I speak to you right now, they are in confusion. So how do you address Peter Obi? We feel quiet. Then in PDP, when I left them, I came back home to where I was. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Boys away. Guess what? They woke up one morning and all their godfathers were resigning from PDP. So now, everything they criticize me, they don't have the moral ground to go to the media. So they now kept quiet. Now, I laid this background because I wanted to just say something.
Yes.
Political party is merely an association. And Constitution has guaranteed you the right of freedom of association. Then 2, political party is not a cult. Where we say if you enter,
you know they come out.
You know they come out. If you go come out, they go kill you. No. And, sir, 99.9% of the political actors in Nigeria today, minimum, have changed parties 3 times. Minimum.
Some are political actors. So now film then they act.
They've moved. The reason is because my belief system, individual come up with the vision of what they want to do, but the constitution says you can only acquire power in Nigeria by going through a political party. It's a political party that sponsors a candidate. Hence the need for people to join. Somebody joined this political party and then his interest is not served.
Yes.
He has to have a platform to become anything in life, and it has to be a political party. Now it's not realistic yet, so he has to move.
Okay, don't you think it's high time maybe for Nigeria to sort of emulate the current political system that they have in America as regards to Republicans and Democrats? No, I understand, but would it be more straightforward?
No, but let me even
if
show you.
APC, PDP, all of the political parties had strict rules, regulation, guidelines, and things that they stand for.
It's even in America. Donald Trump was a Democrat. The current president, he was a Democrat. He couldn't find direction in Democratic Party. Donald Trump now is a Republican. I can go on and on and on and on and mention heavy political gladiators in the United States that have had to change political parties to achieve. Now, in terms of membership, if you are not very active, you can decide to just say, I am an independent.
Yes.
But if you are in a climate where certain political parties are the ones that are dominant and win more election, and the constitution says you cannot attain to power until a political party sponsors you, you must be in one of those
You must be in
platforms.
one. You can't be independent.
So here's what I think people should use as judgment for politicians. It's not about the party you change. It should be about the projection of what you believe to be your vision. And if you change from that vision, then tell Nigerians what informed your decision. The reason I said that is because you even have a right to change.
Yes.
I mean, I was in a relationship that I thought was going to work out. I ended up marrying the lady. And I'm now married, happily married and moving.
She
The
break
lady
your
is
heart and
married.
you do bad thing.
We both broke our hearts. Because she broke, and when she came back, I broke her heart. So, but all I'm trying to say is, there are things you taught, even in terms of the choice of what you want to study in life. You say, okay, I want to read this course at the point. Some people read medicine and they are in entertainment.
Yes.
True.
I even told a certain guy in the media house who was charging me in a television. You know, now television people are being cho. He dey charging me. Oh yeah. Then I now said, make I quiet am for this air. Make I tell her after. Make I respect her. Then I go ask am. Now, which TV station where you start to work with? This one are the first one. The way Jesus Christ said, when Jesus said, where are your accusers?
Wow.
But you see, what of you don't talk, say, okay, our dear Peter Obi say he move. What if they move for our interest?
So that is what he is making you believe. But let me give you 1, 2, 3, 4, or even just too much. 4 is too much. That Peter Obi's movement has nothing to do with the interests of the people. Now, Peter Obi is a capitalist by nature. He believes in free market economy. He's a businessman. There is nothing resembling socialism around Peter Obi. But Peter Obi ran on the platform of Labour Party that is principally a socialist party that has the embellishment of socialism. It's about welfare of workers. Tell me the first time you have ever seen Peter Obi in any workers' strike or rally, protest, or marching. Tell me whether you have seen Peter Obi in the last 30 years participating in any student unionism, student activities. Tell me whether Peter Obi was with this NSAS. But it is the same demographic that Peter Obi uses in campaigning. But let me tell you the part that has opened people's eyes. You see, in the last election, Peter Obi, believing in what is happening in Nigeria, in America, there's this thing called populism. You ride on the anger of the people. So Donald Trump came and all these wild supremacists and the rest, you now pick up their anger and they fuel you. So you see all over. In Nigeria, Peter Obi came up with that. He just saw that, the youth are not happy and the rest. And he wrote on that it was going to, that's why they use their money. They say, we know they give shishi. Because once you ride on their anger, they sponsor themselves to fight your cause. The place he used most were the churches. He went to all the churches, met all the Pentecostal bishops. And they followed him thinking that he, just as he said, take back your country, kiniko kiniko. So the election ended. He was in all their meetings, Holy Ghost night, Holy Ghost morning, Holy Ghost afternoon, prophetic prayer, everything. He was everywhere. When the election ended, we were waiting. Like my church, we had Shiloh. I don't see Peter Obi again. I told one of our pastors,
Wow.
Peter Obi, then they call Shiloh again. No. And if you go around all the churches, Peter Obi never did that. Now, but let me tell you another one. Peter Obi is a billionaire.
Yeah.
Multi-billionaire.
Yeah.
There is no record that Peter Obi has flouted a foundation. Because every man who believes he has a passion for humanity, every man that I've seen in terms of big men, they flouted a foundation or a school.
Yeah.
Anything that has to do with public interest and fund it so they can meet the need of the masses. Not a single one.
But there are good deeds that he does. Gives 100 million to this, to the streets.
He never give 100 million from Adam. I know he gives 5 million. Peter Obi has ever given beyond 50. And even that 50 he gave, I can tell you the circumstances behind it. But let me tell you, he came to the Northwest and North Central that time after the election. And places where they didn't have water and he wanted to create borehole. You know the type of borehole Peter Obi gave them money to produce? Caveman days borehole. Where somebody will climb and be bouncing like this. Like a strip club. He'll be bouncing like that before water will come out. This is the type of development in his mind. But Nigerians don't know. Because as a man thinking in his heart, so you see, out of the abundance of food, if you believe in fashion, that's how you're going to do fashion.
But maybe, don't you think if he had assumed government, maybe would have, I don't know, maybe because since he say he does not spend too much,
Yeah.
you know, they give shishi, maybe it would have been a country that saved more and, you know.
So he bragged about savings. Let me
Yes.
tell you something about his saving. And he would always refer to Anambra. He said, I was in Anambra, I left safe, Kiriko. There's a system called asset and liability. When the man he handed the power came, and now explain how much liability they had. If you minus the liability from what he believed to be the saving, there's nothing on ground. This is called pure 419. And secondly, sir.
You cannot be calling my guy pure 419.
The political 419.
My guy, now my guy.
The second one is the one that will shock you, sir. Peter Obi saved the money.
Okay.
But he saved the money in a bank to which he was a chairman at the time.
Hey, maybe this bank that he trusts, innit?
No, that's where he was making the money. As you did like that, if you get money, you go put in a bank. There's interest.
Yes.
Think of billions of naira you're putting in that bank, the interest that is accruing in that bank. There's this thing in public service, they say conflict of interest.
Conflict of interest, true.
You are supposed to go far away from that bank to which you are a chairman. Then Peter Obi did not work on infrastructure in Anambra State. They will tell you. Do you know, Peter Obi talked about education. We want to bring education to our people. Do you know when he was in power, he sacked the vice chancellor because the medical students and the doctors in Anambra at the time went on strike because of their lack of living condition, no improved salaries. He got angry and he fought them. So all of this thing, and when he talked about, we converted, we made missionaries, he took, because he came from Catholic,
Yes.
so he took away government schools and handed it over to mission school so they can use mission money to work. So let's say we clap for him. So what happened to government schools? Go to Anambra now and see it. So to me, and he has a demographic of people who believe him.
There's one question. No? Bibi has she has 52 questions that she has written down. But there's one. I wrote it down because I know so I'm not going to forget. Why, as a special advisor on policy,
Right.
communication, and all those things,
Right.
why does it feel like government's messaging is more, most times, not necessarily this government,
Yeah.
but government's messaging generally sometimes, it's more about defending than explaining solutions.
Right. So I have a valid answer to that. So as a government, you communicate what you're doing. And that we've been doing for some time. There is a fourth estate of the realm, the media. The media to a large extent shape narrative.
True.
I come to this program, I can only answer your question.
Yes.
I cannot frame a question to myself and
Yes,
answer.
yes.
Most of the questions that come to government is about an offense for which government is called upon to defend.
Okay.
So you have to first dispel the fake news, dispel the rumor, defend the government, then you can proceed again to talk about the program. On an average in a week, I appear 5-6 times every week. If not podcast, Zoom, if not Zoom, TV, if not TV, radio, communicating the policy of government. But do you know that anytime I appear in any of these media outlets, sometimes you even come to talk about economic policy of the government and how it will impact
They know
people.
they listen to that one.
They'll be asking you political questions. ADC people say they have gathered, they say they are on top of Mountain Kilimanjaro. And there is no time. You only have 30 minutes and you must answer their question. You have seen modern interviewers now. We have these magic interviewers now. Yeah, you find them in some TV station. Their interest is not even to get you to answer a question. They ask you the question, give you their position, and jump to the next. And you see, younger generations are picking it. And as they are doing that, they will be tweeting so that their Twitter will generate the view. We are no longer interrogating people and then giving the Nigerian people the opportunity to hear them out. For me, I can tell you the truth. I have never encouraged the idea of me going to TV and you are asking me to tell you if there are areas I want you to ask me. No, whatever is in your mind,
Ask it.
ask it.
True, and we can definitely verify that based on the fact that all the questions that we're asking is really from ourselves, myself and Nedu. There was no giving questionnaire. There's nothing
at all.
off limits.
Nothing off limits.
Nothing
Yes,
at
sir.
all.
Yes, sir. Government must be accountable to the people because my belief is this: I either have an answer or an explanation, or I will tell you I don't have an answer. I will come back to you.
But no vessel. No vessel. Okay, you not go vessel for this question. No?
Not at all.
But do you sometimes feel like you are just, packaging hardship policies in grammar, for Nigerians to be able to swallow? It's like you're packaging this hardship. You know when you want to take medicine and you don't know how to take medicine, you bring the fufu, put the medicine inside, put it inside. Maybe you're packaging hardship inside the fufu, put it inside grammar. And you speak so that people say, what this guy is saying, no, it's true.
Well, let me give you a good example.
But we not call kuku the siam.
That question has been asked, and I've always asked the media people. I say, okay, be definite and specific about that area. So, for example, we talked about the economic policy of the government with respect to, let's say, the income of the people, right? Now, when people say we know they feel them or we know they see them, this is my direct answer to them. There is increase of minimum wage. They collect them, then they collect them.
I'll be like, sir.
Number one. And two, for our youth, there is increase for NYSC people. Then they collect them, then they collect them. Three, for government workers, if you want to buy car, TV, anything, instead of you to be involved in corrupt practices, there's a credit scheme by government where you can go and collect these things and you will pay with time. Now, we talked about Nelfon, where you go collect money, study, and then later, they feel them, then they feel them. But you see, whenever you talk about that, the demographics that have not yet benefited will think as if nothing has happened. So there was a time, this Nelfon thing we are talking, one of the major opposition stakeholder who was criticizing the thing privately pursued for his relative to access this thing.
Wow.
Yeah. So when you talk about Buno, they feel like, okay, for example, if you are in the Lagos coastal Calabar, they see construction. The improvement in insecurity is some of these pockets of insecurity you see here and there. They are part of human nature where crime will be perpetrated. But let me give you an example of where we were and where we are. Before Buhari left, there was a prison break was all over Nigeria. In fact, some soldiers were killed somewhere in Buhari, and then the bandits were saying they were coming to the seat of power to collect the president. Most of the local government from where I come from, Borno, were taken over by Boko Haram. Now, you can run this security check across Nigeria. When we came on board, we subdued them until the last 2-3 months when you see their heads coming here and there. But look at the progress we are making. You see the bandits surrendering. You see us killing the heads of the bandit. DSS the other time caught the people that are involved in Benue killing. So the progress is being made. And insecurity, is it not America that the day before yesterday, they killed somebody who was exercising free speech? This kind of criminalities you see. But so the progress we are making now, I want to ask them, because they know they see them.
But
Go on.
Do you think that the progress that we're making is sufficient enough? Because one of the things that you mentioned earlier on is that, okay, Nigerians, we have to suffer for a couple of years or suffer for some time before we get to enjoy. However, people will say that the suffering is too much. You mentioned the increase of something like minimum wage. And my question to you is, with the rate of inflation, the cost of living and the cost of living crisis, that's fair enough. It's not just in Nigeria. It's really all around the world. Even with that minimum wage increase, is it enough for people to feed themselves and support their families also?
Very good question. And I will admit that it is not enough. And I will give a reason too. Number one is that we're still in the reform agenda, right? So we have come out of that critical condition because a successful surgery was conducted by the president, where the fundamentals of the economy are intact. In terms of, you look at our foreign revenue, you look at the GDP growth I told you about. You look at the reduction in terms of our importation, increase in terms of our exportation. You look at the non-oil sector. There are so many of these things, but the population is large. So it will take time to get a certain percent of the population. So if you are doing a polling, for example, sample size, you look at and then determine the demographics on any issue that you're polling. But because you polled an opinion on an issue that you conducted based on a sample size and margin of error, does it mean that the entire population have been asked the question? No. But you do a projection based on the sample size and the margin of error. This is how you look at reform. But with time, I can guarantee you to go. So, for example, if you look at education, it will take time before you can expand beyond 400,000 to 5 million to 10 million. The same thing in terms of the CNG. By the time CNG buses are all over the states of Nigeria, and you have the CNG cars all over the states of Nigeria, it will reduce that transportation by far. So, yes, I admit that it is not sufficient because of the size of the population and the resources are not much, right? But I can assure the Nigerian people that with time, it will improve. The Nigerian people are not even where they were 2 years ago. 2 years ago, they were jumping to the lagoon because of hopelessness. Nigerians have found path in adjusting their way of life. A father comes home, takes the family every weekend to the movie, takes them to Europe on vacation, spend money because at the time he has multiple streams of income. Suddenly he lost his job. And suddenly he can't jump to the lagoon. He has to now adjust the way of life. He might probably tell the family we can no longer go to the movie in the next 6 months. We might not go to Europe, but we they go somewhere in Jos or Bauchi. And then we they eat extra. Now we will just eat the basic to survive. But I guarantee you people, I will find a job as a father. Are they going to kill their papa? No. They will keep faith with him. And they will continue to also help in ensuring that the father gets a job. With time, the father will find a job.
Unfortunately, I feel like the Nigerian people believe that the father is making the money and he's spending it on himself.
With his girlfriend.
Right.
He's taking his mistress out on the weekends.
Right.
He's taking her to the cinema. He's taking her to Europe. And the family is left to, pick up the pieces.
So when you find a situation like that, as a family, what do you do generally? Probably there will be one stubborn boy who will fight for the mother. Not so. Who will now face the father and say, no, that is not true. You are spending this money on so and so person.
Right.
So you bring facts to government and say, this and these are the areas we believe you should have managed these resources.
Better.
And government is always listening. There is this thing we call, when the president appointed the ministers, so he gave them key performance indicators. And then they open up citizen engagement portal where you and me and everybody seeing what these ministers and agents of government are doing, that you can give your feedback on it. So take, for example, if there is a minister, that there is an assumption he's living a very lavish life, he's mismanaging the resources of that ministry, he's giving out contract on areas that are not essential, he's doing all of those things, you go to the portal and lodge a complaint. Through these interviews, through citizens engagement, the government gets the feedback and then the government act on it. So the part you're saying is, assuming I prefer a situation where you can show as a family that you've been able to bring the father to order to say, look, this money you're spending this way, you have a girlfriend, you're funding her to UK or Europe or anywhere, and then he doesn't, because at that point you don't have any excuse.
So you're saying that we need to, if we have these allegations,
Bring
as
it up.
citizens, bring it up.
Government welcomes that.
Bring it up specifically through the portal or bring it up in any way possible?
In any way possible. But the
Now.
portal is for the purposes of assessing that minister.
Bring it up in any way possible. I'll come back to that.
Well,
come back to
you
that.
see, I think there is one thing that keeps ringing in my head all the time, and I remember talking about this in a TEDx recently in Enugu, Kwechiri, done by Chinedu
Yeah.
Fechi. And I when I go on stage, funny enough, what I want to talk about wasn't what I ended up talking about. I just I saw something on social media, it kind of pissed me off.
Right.
And I went on and I said what I said. And what I said was that I believe every strong society
Right.
is built on three strong pillars,
Right.
which is truth, reason, and wisdom. And societies that don't pay attention to those three strong pillars will crumble.
I agree.
And they are not crumbling not because of war, not because of famine, not because of any natural disaster. It's because of one post, one tweet, one TikTok post,
Yeah.
one crazy thing. We are at the stage where truth does not really matter anymore on social media. Is what is viral. We're at a stage where right now nobody cares. Anybody can just stand up and post something on social media and nothing is done about it. What are we doing as a country? I mean, you're your media, you're in charge. How do you control the social media space so that because
But should you control it though? Should you control
well, maybe not control, regulate it.
Okay.
Not control, regulate it. Because
There is a bill, to be honest, in to answer the question, that has recently been passed. I think it passed second reading or so, and the bill seeks to rein in on people whose activities on social media destabilize the peace of the country and destroy people. And to support your point, it's not just against government. Somebody was shamed in social media and the person killed himself. Some of these things are there. And recently, the owner of X, what is his name?
Elon Musk.
Now brought his own AI called Grok.
Grok, yeah.
Unfortunately, when he brought out Grok at the beginning, it was superb.
Yes.
And then recently, they found out that they manipulated the algorithm, to the point where Grok by its very nature is conservative.
Oh, wow.
So Grok's interpretation of the question you put to it is also affected by its biases. You see, we are entering into an era of artificial intelligence that is going to destroy people that are not prepared.
True.
You have seen the way people clone voices, clone faces, and all kinds of things. So I believe there are two ways I will respond to this question. One is that free speech should not be gagged.
True, I agree.
It's a fundamental right of human being.
Of every human.
Right.
We have extant laws that if you defame me, I can apply that law in suing you. Even government, they can apply these laws to protect the government. But there is a thin line between that and national security. I remember that was argued during Buhari and people didn't think deep into that and then they flout everything. If you go to America at the moment, there is this thing called Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. It's an act. And then there is a court that hears proceedings relating to that. They call the FISA court, Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, right? They hear motion expertise, oftentimes brought by either CIA or FBI, to say that XYZ, we have found credible information to suggest that he is in conjunction with foreign government trying to destabilize the United States. The person has not been brought in that motion. The judge will now grant that motion. And what is the FBI or CIA praying about? Praying for the right to breach your privacy by putting surveillance on you, by eavesdropping on you, because there is an evidence.
Yes.
So this is one way by which through democratic means you can then reduce the extent to which platforms are being used. We have seen how Twitter was used for the uprising in the entire, what they call the Arab uprising. It was to social media. In fact, let me tell you something. In England, shortly after that, there was one time where in Lewisham, Peckham, Hackney, in Woolwich, all these places where you have the black demographics, there was a time there was this outbreak of something where people were destroying shops and then looting.
Yes.
If you remember, David Cameron was the prime minister. He told Twitter, if you don't take out the account of people, because at that time, all you need is on your Twitter, you just give information.
Yes.
He said, if you don't take it down, we are going to fine Twitter. So government all over the world, even in the most democratic government, they are using all measures within the ambit of the law to manage social media. Because one thing about social media, the backside or the downside of social media is that before you finally come back to say this is the truth of the matter, the deed has been done.
Deed has been done.
Riot would have taken place. People would have been killed. Somebody's life and marriage would have been destroyed. All kinds of things would have happened. So the deed would have been done. How do you then deal with such? This is why this bill that they are introducing.
Okay.
You can criticize government. You can criticize anybody. But there is a thin line between when you will cross the line and then it will not be. Because where your right stop, another one starts.
Another one starts.
And that I have exercise of right does not extinguish your own right. I have right of free speech, but you have right to privacy.
True.
You get the point. True. So people now use that as another generic. You are a public figure, so everything about your life is open. There is even a new law that says just because he's a public figure does not mean you turn him to an animal. So as we grow, the courts will keep giving interpretation that will further broaden the extant law, and if there is need for enactment of another law, that will help sanitize the system.
People, I see on Twitter what is going on social media in Nepal. And everybody say, Gen Zs are angry at Nepal. And then I see on our Twitter that some people are hailing what is going on and say, oh, this one's supposed to happen for Nigeria anytime soon. If people are saying that in Nigeria, it means they are really angry.
But the funny part is majority of them are not in Nigeria.
That's another thing.
Let me prove it. I studied in England. I lived for some time there. You see, in our climate, we talked about poverty. So people not having, they manage their data. They are not 24 hours on social media. Somebody will call and say, oh, I turned off my data.
Yes.
When he turns before you see. These guys that are on the social media are Nigerians. I'm not saying they are not Nigerians, but they live in climes where they have this thing free 24 hours.
Yes.
Those ones, some of them don't even care what happens to Nigeria. They can incite all they want because they won't be affected. Assuming these individuals are staying here, the rate and the proportion of the proportionality of their intervention will be guided by a certain element. One, you have a brother and sister. You don't want this nation to be destroyed because your brother and sister would have been affected. You have your wife and your children. But when you don't have a stake or your stake is not very strong, we have seen people that were trying their passports.
Yes.
There's one that tried to throw a passport, and later the country from where he found citizenship, they revoked the citizenship.
Wow.
So where is his country?
Wow.
He's a citizen of which country now?
He's a citizen of the water.
But I mean, in the same breath, though, there are some people that believe that in order for it to be fixed, it needs to be completely broken and dismantled.
Right. In order for
it to be fixed, for it to be constructed again or reconstructed, I would say it needs to completely fall down. And that's where you have the, I guess you could say, agitators that are looking for
New
these.
constitution.
Yes, exactly. So what do you say to those people?
right. So there are two arguments to it. America, that is the beacon of democracy. Everybody points at America. They have the 28th Amendment. They call it amendments. Never a new constitution. England doesn't even have a constitution. If we're saying that it is that document that determines our coexistence, there are two arguments. Some will argue for and some against. I believe that all that can be amended, because as a lawyer practicing law, I know the intricacies and the nuances of constitutional provisions. Everything that they are canvassing now can actually be legislated into existence within the framework of the present constitution. That's why we have repeal. There are certain amendments that come by way of constitutional amendment. There are ones that come probably amending one of the acts. But I think the conversation is around the main ground norm, what people call the ground norm, which is the constitution.
Yes.
Now, pick any subject. Let me even give you a good example. Some of the things President Bwala Tinubu is doing now. At that time, people were canvassing that we need a new constitution so we can introduce restructuring.
Yes.
Is he not doing it now? Without a new constitution. Look at the restructuring of our economy. Look at the restructuring of our educational sector. So, and I belong to the school that believe we don't have to destroy it so we can try it.
Yes.
Because there is an implication associated with that. So let's say if you want to form a new constitution, these current National Assembly members will cease to be members of the National Assembly. Because in framing a new constitution, some of the people who are agitating have not taken a deep thought of that. It is the ethnic nationalities that will sit in their various communities who determine who will represent them. Nedu will represent our community, not be the one with the National Assembly. After they have chosen them, give them mandate, then you all come to Abuja and deliberate on the nationhood of Nigeria. who will spearhead? Which president?
True.
Because this president derived his authority from this
Constitution.
So we can't break it down, can we?
You can.
You cannot.
Well, staying with the Constitution, of course, you've been quite vocal in the past about constitutional reform.
Right.
So I do want to ask you, what are, in your opinion, 2 or 3 sections that are in urgent need of that reform or change?
I believe, just like the president recently said, he's beginning to think about creation of state police because it will take care of 60% of the insecurity. People who are against the creation of state police have only one fear, that the governors might turn the state police as political tools. Yeah. But the constitution can be arranged so in just like the American system.
Yeah.
Look at what is happening in Chicago. All over the states they call the blue states. That Donald Trump said they are just a mess. Is he not sending federal troops there? So you can build a constitution in such a way that if there is an abuse of the state police by the governor, there will be the intervention of the feds.
Feds are coming.
But local people who understand their local peculiarities, you give them the power to deal with their local problem, then go deal with their local problem.
Because I didn't know what in the to go on.
You go to community, they know person where they cause the problem. The bandit where they come, they know them.
Then go thief your wallet. You go credit document. No worry, I know who thief.
In the evening, we go bring her.
You go bring her. And true, then go bring her. And everything go there intact.
But if they are not the ones involved in it, they are not stakeholders. You are bringing somebody from outside. They go say, watch out.
You go see come with us.
So I agree with that aspect of the state police. The second aspect is we must create the avenue where everybody in Nigeria can run for position and can win, even if he comes from a minority and not necessarily
without paying 100 million naira for form.
Without paying that much money for form. Even the campaign spending. In Nigeria today, for a senator to emerge as a senator, they say on a minimum, he will spend between 2 to 5 billion.
Jesus.
Wow.
There are certain communities in Nigeria, for example, if you go to Anambra, because economically they are very viable.
Yes.
If you are going to be a governor, you probably will spend more than 5 governors in another state.
Wow.
So we need also to have a spending cap, where you can't go beyond that. In America, they also have unlimited spending, but they don't spend in the way we spend. They say, we give you money. They spend in advertising. Yes. 75% of their spendings are on advertising of the same candidate.
Yes.
So, dynamics, but it can change. Any aspect of the Constitution that has created a problem, the essence of Constitution is that it is always subjected to amendment. Because as people evolve, so also the law governing them will evolve.
Absolutely.
Do you sorry, no verse, my guy. I can't question enter my head. Do you see a difference between you and a pastor? Because
as an advocate, right?
As an advocate, because a pastor sells hope.
Yeah.
I call them hope merchants.
Yeah.
Not all of them. There are a few of them that are really, really.
So let me break this one. It will be of interest to you. Probably it will be a talking point.
Yeah.
In the same way you look at politicians and you look at what you believe to be the problems that the politicians are having or the challenges that they face every day, we have more than 3 times the problem in the church. To the point now, it will be very difficult if you sample men of God to say more than 10 or 15% are genuine men of God. We have entered the era of arranged prophecies, arranged miracles. Now, a pastor he's going to preach for 1 hour. 95% of the time, he's talking about politicians that are not in the church. So it's like he's performing theatrics for the audience of the politicians. And the masses are there to give him all the clap and the motivation, but the target is somebody high up there that has money. The poverty in the church, the lack of creativity in the church, all kinds of problems in the church. He's not thinking about how to improve their economy, but he thinks about how he can make somebody a governor because the man will bring money. And that has affected the community of the church, that you find majority of the people in the church are poorer than the normal people in the society. Somebody is doing well in government. As soon as he comes to the church, they make him poor. First, they collect all your money through prophet's offering. Then the one way remain, they tell you, devote it to this. There are great men of God, they are doing well, and I admit of that. But I'm saying that the societal decay is everywhere. You would have thought that spirituality is not affected by that. It is actually more in that. What is the core message of a minister? 1, to connect the people to God. make sure they have a relationship, and number two, to make their life meaningful to the society. We are change agents. Yes. In those days, inventors, engineers, lawyers come out from the church.
Yes.
In fact, certain democratic values were shaped from the church area. Can you go to church now and come out and say this number of people were taught skill, creativity, innovation, and all that? No. To the point now, their senses work well when they're analyzing government.
Because that's what everybody can relate to.
It's sharper.
Yes.
Because they can relate to it.
Absolutely.
Because it's like you said earlier about talking about just like how you related it with Excellency Peter Obi. You said he saw what was prevalent, what was happening, and wrote on it. Now, is it that people only react to what they
are going through their plight,
and they don't see beyond their noses?
In so far as it relates to the world.
In so far as it relates, yes.
But when it comes to the church, they don't question the misuse of the church fund. Now, every pastor now wants to drive Ghost, Rolls Royce, Maserati, fly private. You see this
and it's okay with them. They cannot excuse the pastor. But when it comes to this government official,
but isn't it different though?
How is it?
Because, well, I feel like the church is a place of worship. It's not necessarily created for the people, by the people.
Well, the government are the ones that are supposed to be providing things for the people, not the church.
So let me tell you. But the people who are in government came from where? From the church. If they were framed in the church, they will be good examples in government. And I will tell you this, because you see, as a pastor and a person who goes to church, I know what's up. When it comes to, I will give you a very raw case. A diligent worker in the church might even be a deacon. He wants to see a pastor for 1 week. He's booking an appointment, he can't see the pastor. A politician comes to the church. He wants to, the pastor will rush the church service and go to his office, so the politician will go and meet him and give him something. So even if you come to the church, people who have means, who have money, they tend to influence church activities more than those who do not have money, who are in the church. But whose duty to build the members of the church? Because the whole essence of church is that your life will never be the same. So even if government failed you, look at communities like South Korea, the revival that broke out in South Korea, in the church of Paul Yonggi-cho, started from the church. Then they started producing leaders. So in Nigeria, like he said, we excuse religious leaders very easily. Now, we come out, this government is not conservative. Look at the way they are living. And then you have a church, less than 5,000 people. The pastor from Ghost, they will take him to the airport. He goes through the private wing and enters a private jet and flies out of the country. Do you know how much it costs to travel? And they say, oh, no, it is offering from the prophets of profit, offering from where? You were not there when they were giving the money. So that pastor has completely disconnected himself from committed. When I talk about raw committed members of the church who don't have means, they find it difficult booking an appointment with their spiritual leaders.
Sir, do you think we'll ever get to the point where, because sometimes I sit down in my head and I think, are we ever going to get to the point where public officials, government, our leaders will really work for the people and with 100% interest for the people? Because Nigeria is the only world that I know that person go get of appointment. The first in a church, he don't go for Thanksgiving, go do appointment. And as he don't do appointment, good Thanksgiving, the family member where they find work don't believe say no more finding of work. The younger brother or when you say this as my uncle don't become senator, I'm flying back to Nigeria. And you find out that one way or the other,
and the senator's salary is just something.
And the senator's salary is just like that. I think I'm like, check them. All of us now be the problem.
Yeah.
Because government where they call corrupt government, now government will not they favor you. The one way they favor you, you go say na connection you get. So I think we need to get to the point as a people,
right,
where we need to stop glamorizing public offices, because as they push people to say, hey, don't become small councillor. Small person become councillor. You were the area go say, you councillor you. Person that's supposed to be driving in convoy.
Exactly. He's even an appointee. He doesn't even have money.
Doesn't even have
He has not
money.
even bought a house.
Which kind of government official?
Where were
is-
you expecting him to get?
get
Let me
the
tell
money
you,
from?
accountability is the problem. We face government. So structure of democracy provide the platform for us to hold our government responsible, right? If you have lawmakers, there is a power to recall the person. If you have public officials government, you can criticize. There are certain measures, including the National Assembly bringing impeachment proceedings. But you don't have that in church because they believe that in church it is apostolic. But in those days, even in apostolic churches, if a pastor commits adultery, they will punish him. They will give him black seat behind the church for 6 months. Now, if he commits, 90% will come to his defense. It's grace. It's grace. But when it applies any other person, they now lash at person. So what I'm trying to say is general. Let me tell you the part that is very disappointing to me, being in government and then seeing that. How in the world will a pastor take a position and say that we are going to support this political party or this political party? How in the world can somebody do that? Let me tell you why I say so. The members of your church have a right to decide the political party they belong to. This one can be here. And yours is just to talk about the basic right, which we know politics is all about. Protecting your interests. Okay. The interests of the church so that they will not be persecuted. So find any political party that supports this and vote for that person. But we have seen in the last 2 election cycle in Nigeria, a pastor will come and be threatening that members will die if they don't vote for a particular candidate.
Yeah.
So
Which is
this is where
ridiculous, by the way.
So some of your deacon and members who belong to the opposite political party will feel alienated in the church.
But talking about this also, glamorizing government positions, we notice that government officials, governors, senators, House of Rep members, when then they find you, they will come to your church.
Yeah.
They will do everything. Some will even visit you and cook soup with you. But when they don't come win, they not send your papa again.
Yeah.
Convoy, 5 motor go first pass before their own go come pass. You don't exist to them
Poor
anymore.
leadership.
Where then they get the money? Where them they take glamorize themselves? When they tell me send a small money, then they pay for government. Then they
It's
thief
corruption.
money.
It's corruption. What else? When you become a public officer, you are supposed to sign your declaration of
Assets.
And then, let me tell you from my own point of view. After my appointment, all kinds of call left, right, and center all over. Some people demanding that you do this for them, including people forcing you to get appointment for them, do this. 99.9% of the requests coming from the same people that expect government to do better are pushing you towards the path of corruption. 99%. Tomorrow morning, they will go and accuse government. That's the foundation. We talked about the one that they say after 1 year, you are still driving the car you are driving
Yes.
before you are appointed. They say, can you see?
Yes.
You don't even know what in
You don't even know what
now
it
this
is.
position where they occupy the same community. Now, if you turn the reverse side of the argument, when you talk about somebody coming to eat with you, coming to your church, doing everything, that's how you know leaders who are not genuine. Anybody who suddenly comes to you like that, we call it number 1 sign, not the correct one.
Yes.
So what do you do as civil populates? Make sure they don't come back to government again. Yes, make sure if they get voted and they forget about the constituency, make sure they don't come back. But those ones that come and explain that maybe you guys have higher expectation. When Buhari became president, there was this expectation put on Buhari.
Yes.
People thought one day we will just close our eyes open, Nigeria is supernatural.
Savior mentality.
He struggled to fight insecurity. Then he was, humanized, right? Yes. That's the word. You demystified. Sometimes the expectation of the masses is above the pay grade of the public officers. Because it's not easy. That's why they say, this one talk. As soon as he got there,
Right.
he couldn't even move a needle because of the implication in democracy.
Is it a system problem?
It's a democratic structure. So as a president, you cannot decree it. We were living so much in military administration where they can just decree anything to existence. Now the man promised you, say, when I become president, I will do this. Now he has become president or he has become governor.
You not go fit do am without.
It has to pass through legislative process. The legislators are saying they can't support you until you also support this our legislative agenda.
I like that.
so he washed my back. I thought I scratched my
Then
back. I
argument
scratched
keeps
your
going.
back. Then argument is so the person that you're expecting to do that thing, that you elected to do that
Yeah.
thing, you now find out that he does not really have that much power
Yeah.
to do.
Even
that thing.
some of the things they call budget padding. I give you an example. President wants to push agenda, he brings the budget. The National Assembly say, okay, we too will get projects in our constituency. We must slot in our project where we want to do.
Wow.
Because we must all go back to our constituency and say, I promise to put primary school to renovate.
Yeah.
So the government now weighs it. If I don't want to drag this thing for long, we must find a way. After all, it's still the Nigerian people, they want to do the
That is if they really want to do it for them, and it's not their pocket.
If you see a situation like that, to me, blame the law enforcement. Do you know why? Every constituency project you see is not originally meant to be executed by that lawmaker. There is a ministry, department, and agency of government that will run through the process of getting contractors and doing the job. But the reason is because the lawmaker who puts that goes behind and nominates somebody he knows or his own company and probably do one shady thing with government and ministries, and then the money comes back to him. Isn't it the job of law enforcement to investigate all the EFCC, ICPC? So, but sometimes people look at it and look at the president or look at somebody from high up. There is this institutional problem in Nigeria that something happened, you think it's A that is the problem. It's like water. Suddenly water is not coming out. You are tracing the pipe. All of us thought it is this, only for you to trace it and discover that there is a corner that it into. So nation building is an everyday affair. To me, the greater responsibility is with the civil populace. And how do you play that role? Engage. If you keep quiet, they will give you anything, including shit. But if you are engaging, you're calling government to account. Keep talking. Some people say, we talk, we no see. That is how changes are made.
Like this boy, Randy Peters. That is always talking about INEC, change reforms. Like as if say INEC, or like as if say INEC, I got collect girlfriend. Do you think we have a leadership problem or a followership problem?
I think it's both. Almost all leaders are product of the followership. The leaders emerge from the followers.
Of course.
It's not like God sends some leaders to us. It's from among us people who run for position. So leadership is a reflection of that society. If you want to change leaders, start by changing the people. Now, that man who is driving, he sees the red sign and he still passes. It's the foundation of the problem now.
So how do we get to the foundation and fix the problem?
To me, engagement across all levels. You are social media influencers. You're already mirroring that in calling government to account. You're doing your bit. Then the masses ought to also, come in. Then at our own level, let's say in schools, we have to develop a curriculum that teaches people to do the right thing.
Absolutely.
In Japan, some of these Asian countries, they teach people more about character. In my practice of law, before you can be called to the bar, it is not enough for you to know the law. You must have the character. That's why they say you must be adjudged to be fit and proper. Character and learning. Because you can know the law. If your character is bad, you'll be a problem to the law. So in Japan, they teach people about culture, about neatness, about everything. It has affected their community. You go to Japan, if you enter train now, nobody they make noise. But if you come to our society, it's not like that. So everybody will play his role, her role, and then we can see a sense of society. But if you happen to find yourself in leadership, then the greater responsibility is on you.
Absolutely.
If your salary, if they reduce your salary. If they...
Very good question. Where are we holding
like that.
the podcast now? In my law office.
Yes.
Now, if you're going into politics, always have a second address. People without second address, I can't tell you the last time from my salary that I've been helping people from the day one. Never eaten kobo from my salary. Helping people. I have my own practice of law. Now I've been called to serve government. I serve government, but I didn't close my practice. There are lawyers who are running the law firm, on behalf of the chambers in order for me to solve my problem. So I go into politics with my conviction. If I don't like, I come out. If I like, I did. I can never be forced into doing what I don't believe simply because I rely on food to eat. So, but I can understand there are people who probably are not into entrepreneurship or business or anything. They work with government. If your salary reduced, does it mean everybody who has a reduced salary, or let's even put the worst case scenario, who lost his job, will go into banditry? I mean, we have decent Nigerians who've lost their jobs.
It's true.
We have decent graduates who are still
true.
yet to get job. You can imagine somebody with 2 degrees, even PhD, working for somebody who finished secondary school.
What is that thing that you have learned or seen with working with Our Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu that you Nigerians don't know, that you think they really need to know these things? What are those things?
Let me tell you, number one, the president is a courageous man. If he believes a cause to be the right thing, he will pursue that cause with courage. But in exercising courage in governance, one good quality I like about the president is he understands the reaction of the people and doesn't take that reaction as a negative feedback to government. So, for example, you will see other people who are not emotional, who are not demonstrating emotional intelligence. You will never see President Bola Tinubu saying to the masses, you can go to blazes. Anytime he addresses the Nigerian people, he will say, have patience. I know it will be tough for you. I know what is going on in your families. That empathy is key in leadership, because some people, empathy is 50% of their problem solved. Even that's why some people, you are sick, they take you to hospital, they refer you to psychology. Because the medicine that is administered, for the most part, they say it actually doesn't work. It is the faith you put in that.
Effects,
Thank you. That's two. The third one, the president is a listening president. I can tell you that. And he welcomes debate. I have worked with leaders. There are leaders that sort of have this inferiority complex, right? If you are cerebral or you have a good case in a matter, they take it that you're arrogant. Not President Bola Tinubu. As a matter of fact, the way he works is, if you want credibility, if you want respect, when you come to him with a matter, have facts, know your matter, be convinced about it. No be say you talk, say, Your Excellency, I think say this one a white light too, and then this one a black. Then he say, and I want more we put on this way. He say, no. It is the other way. They say, okay, sir. Then you are not the originator of your thought. You will not get his respect. But if you want to get the respect of Your Excellency, I still hold the view that this is the best position. The reason is because, Your Excellency, if you push it the other way, it will affect this. So then he does that. That's what he does. And when you finish, he thinks about it. He takes a decision favorable to what you say. There are times he may not decide what you actually suggest. So this is what I've been telling people about our role as special advisors. Is to advise. Is to bring information to your boss. It is not your duty to compel your boss to act on those information. Some people feel bad that they advise government on an issue. It is not carried out, they become angry. No. If you're an appointee of government, is to make robust information available to your boss. How he takes decision is up to him. That is what it means. That's what we mean by loyalty, but patriotism. Patriotism is not, if the president says, go do something that is wrong, it is your duty to tell the president, Your Excellency, I think this is wrong. Constitutionally, it doesn't support your office because you swore to the Constitution to preserve the people. It is not even good for your legacy. Your duty is to be. Then the other flip side, because of the pressure of masses, some people do what we call grandstanding. You want to come to the media to criticize the government to which you are appointed as an appointee, thinking by doing that, the demographic will say, the man they walk. So this is grandstanding. If I have an opinion, and I have always expressed that I think that, okay, it should have been this way, it should have been this, I sit with my boss, once he gives me the privilege, and I bring those facts. Once I bring the fact, I come out, my heart is okay. Because I have seen how presidents, after they leave power, they write their memoir, or people write books about them. How they finish the people that work under them. I know of a president in Nigeria, when he finished, he wrote a book, Under My Watch. The way he described somebody that served him as minister, and at that time was adjudged as one of the best ministers. The way he described the guy, that's why I say, as an appointee, I will try my best to be honest with my principal, so that when many years after I have gone, either I'm sacked or I finish my term, he will say, but that guy is courageous. That guy will tell you what he thinks is right. This is what I read that book, My Watch, and I told myself, this what is called in Hausa, we call it munafurci. This otingbu in Igbo. You know, somebody you want to give your leader the impression that you are the best, right? You bring all kinds of lies.
Eye service.
Eye
service. And you know what, in leadership, 70% of people who, when they come around leaders, you see them over tumbling
Yes.
with this type of praises and praises. They are this set of people who behind their leaders, they are not representing the leaders well. Because they believe that if you do eye service, you will win his interest. Approval.
Absolutely.
No. Asiwaju does not even like that.
Very, very insightful. I hope that, some people have walked away with a better understanding of the kind of man that our president is. But I do want to ask you, when people mention Dr. Daniel Bwala in the next 20 years, what do you want them to remember you for?
I want to be remembered for the legacy of impact. And impact oftentimes is not very popular with the masses, in the sense that I want 20 years later to see people have affected their lives positively, whether from the point of view of legal profession or in politics, who are also going to do much better than what I have done. With respect to Nigeria, I want 20 years from now, when people talk about the certain time and period in my life where I had the privilege to serve in government, they will say, when he was there, these were the specific changes that he brought. He affected, for example, in the role I'm in, I've already started seeing it in certain media outfit where people say he brought stability to the communications team. That people say, besides they praise myself, people say, that there's coordination and all of that. So I want to be remembered for the positive thing that I'm able to do. I also want to be remembered as someone that stood for what he believed in. So, for example, when I said I was going to leave the party because of Muslims and ticket, I wasn't doing that to impress any particular person. It was very dangerous to my political career because I had the rare privilege of working with Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is now the president, in the event leading up to the primaries. We had such a close rapport.
So you have worked with him before.
Yes.
Now I get it.
So, and that is credit to the president, because if you assemble 10 leaders, I think 9.5 will say, since he left me, I will never have to do anything to do with it. I will never have. But if you look at everybody around Asiwaju, 90% have at one time or the other left him. He told me one day when I was saying, Daddy, I'm sorry that when I was leaving, I didn't get to see you and tell you. He said, no. He said, my mother taught me that because he said, based on our experience as the head of the market women, if you are going to be angry with people who are coordinating around you, you will never be the head of the people. He said, by virtue of political history and experience, he has learned to forgive people even before they commit the offense against him. How many leaders in Nigeria will be like that? Look at everybody walking around him, working with him. So this is one. I want that kind of impact, in the life of people. Impact in my office, impact from my political, and in my legal profession as well, to be able to train people who will change specific area of law. In fact, that's the reason why I chose anti-corruption as a subject to research on for my PhD that I'm doing at the moment.
Now, for all the people that you've worked with, if they put our dear president, who put Atiku Abubakar, who would you, if they say, oh yeah, come back to this life again, which one you go choose again over and over?
So, as at today, you see, I did not work closely with Atiku Abubakar.
Okay.
Right? I had only been with them for 7 months. Okay. But I've studied him from a distance. I know him as a good man, elder statesman who means well for the country. He believes in entrepreneurship. But I have had 1 or 2 encounters that helped me form my opinion. Not negative of him, but I will tell you one that distinguished Asiwaju and him. When I left Asiwaju and I joined PDP, all the people around Asiwaju, throughout the campaign, as boisterous as the campaign was, we were in good relationship with them. St. Sheyi Tinubu, my very good friend.
No, shout out. I was going to ask you a question about him.
Sheyi Tinubu, my very good friend. Femi Bajabiamila, the chief of staff. Faleke, Baba Jimmy Benson. All the people around Nation. We relate very well. That is true friendship. And the president had never at any material time displayed any sense that, don't have anything to do with him. After I have left him, when he should be angry. But when I left Atiku Abubakar, I didn't actually leave Atiku. The election was over. I mean, he was not the leader of the party. Election was over, and I went back to my base. Everybody around Atiku started frowning, angry, going to the media, cursing me and the rest. And that's a reflection of what either the leader promotes or doesn't tolerate. So if I come back to life now on the evidence of these two, I would rather work with Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Sheyi Tinubu has distinguished himself. I've never met him before.
Right. Nice guy.
I have seen president's son. This is not me trying to glaze him or anything.
Right.
I've seen a lot of people say good things about him.
Right.
Oh, he fights for the youth. Oh, he did this one. Empowerment. There's some things I see that he's doing in Kano. He's doing that one. He's doing this one. Do you think he's doing those things because he was? First off, what do you think about Sheyi Tinubu as a person?
Sheyi Tinubu, I've come to know him when we were working in the event leading to the primaries, and then just briefly like that we talked. But I had already known his reputation before coming as somebody who minded his business.
I heard that as well.
Son of a rich man, son of a great man who was a former governor in Lagos, but never demonstrated. Look, I have known the children of presidents in Nigeria. He unassuming. Check his friends, childhood friends, people he grew up with.
Yes.
He has not changed the community of his friends because he has greatness, or so to speak. And all the people that were with him as soon as government was formed, he worked towards ensuring that they were in strategic position in government.
Yes.
This is what we call politics.
Yes.
It's easy for him to just ignore them and say, I found new class
And
of
people
people.
way no say this ones can deliver.
Exactly. Secondly, at a point he was even being criticized.
Yes.
That the people he was bringing to government were mostly obedient.
Yes.
That tells you that he doesn't have these biases where he will say, we're up against me. See, one of the days I was having a meeting with him, sitting down like that. When we finished meeting, the next day, I was on air and I criticized the government and his father. And then 2 days after that, we were chatting. I mean, such a person, the kind of understanding that he has. Thirdly, I have not heard that something is happening good for somebody and Sheyi came and spoiled it. I would rather hear things were going bad for people and he came and amended.
Yes.
Ask everybody this and I'm telling you.
Yes.
Now, but there are...
I've heard that one 1,001 times.
Thank you.
I've heard that one.
But for political reason, some people assumed that the way he's been doing a lot of this welfare, which he did not start yesterday, a long time, saying one become governor.
Yes.
Then I asked the question, is he not qualified
to be a governor? Even if he want to be governor.
They say no, because his father is a president. Then I asked the question. He has not said he's running, but I'm just saying you don't gaslight or blackmail somebody, right? I said, even if his father is a president, what stops him from running?
Being a governor.
Absolutely.
He can even challenge his father in the election as a
Exactly,
president.
the next election.
Then look at it. You will never see on social media or anywhere else. ST, his father is the most vilified in recent memory.
Yeah.
He has never had issues. I'll give you an example. There's this young man, they call him something Ed Not. The guy is an established supporter of Peter Obi. I've been seeing that conversation on social media, critical of the government. But ST has a good relationship with him. So that kind of balance that he has created where he understands where he is, use it for the good of youth, and then for the good of humanity, has created already a kind of image around him and persona that some people are finding threatening because of political reason.
Yeah.
He's a human being less established that like every other person, he can make mistake.
Yeah.
You know, he's not God. He can make mistake, and when he makes mistake, he will correct himself.
Accountability.
But on the balance of probability, I have seen sons and daughters of presidents. None has come close to ST by far.
I won't lie to you. I totally agree, which is why I brought it up. I have seen.
And you've never met him.
I have this. It's not because his father became president.
Right.
From my Oga from Basket Mouth, I hear good things about him.
You need to sit down and have a chat with him. You can understand.
From this
have
guy
to.
that runs.
I have to.
From this guy that runs that.
I've heard that he has a very good understanding of people.
Right.
Yes.
I relate
Anybody,
to
like
them
you
on
can
the
go
basis of who they
anywhere,
are.
Yes.
and he understands people.
He sees
And he
you.
relates
And
with
he
you on the
relates
basis
with
of who you are.
Yes.
He doesn't say you have to change to supporting my father before I relate with
Yes.
you. So if he's
He
relating with you
doesn't.
on the basis of this, he relates with that. He doesn't bring his father's government or anything into it. If he's relating with on the basis of that, it is on the basis of that. When you see him hanging around with people, his colleagues, people he grew up with, you see sometimes. So there was a day I hadn't, joined the father. After the election, we met at the Hilton in the morning. We're heading towards the Booker. So while we were talking, then I did like that to him. The security, I didn't know there was one security. The security guy just came. I was trying to take my hand away. He looked at the guy. He carried the hand and grabbed it back to his body. And we kept talking till we walked.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, my own encounter and experience with him, both before the primaries, during the election, after the election, before I joined, and now.
You see, Oga just said something now. He said, I'm telling you my own experience.
Yes.
I want to tell you something. You might not like what I'm about to say. I don't care. Enter gota. But I'm just going to say it anyways. Until you experience somebody, don't have an opinion of that person.
Right.
Somebody might come on somewhere, say something about somebody. That person might have some biased thoughts about that person. But because maybe you are following that person or you like that person, automatically you hate the other person.
Inherit people's problem.
Inherit people's problem without even having the experience of that person. So what I'm going to say today is, I beg, experience people before you have an opinion about them. I want to say thank you so very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dalu, Eshega.
Thank you.
I mean, this is one of the first episodes on the Clarity Zone podcast where we'll be talking to our leaders, understanding our leaders. Our guy Daniel Bwala, advisor to the president of media, he's the first that has kicked it off. We're going to also be understanding more of our leaders as the episodes on the Clarity Zone moves forward. Do not forget, this episode was sponsored by Zobi's Cable. They have their head office here in Abuja. They have offices in Port Harcourt, plus including Onitsha and every other part of Nigeria. From me, baby lawyer that is not here.
Yo, we miss you, baby lawyer.
We miss you, baby lawyer. So we'll be going through your comments. That's what we want to start doing. I'll be reading your comments so that the next shoot we'll talk about your comments. That insult us too much. If we start you back. No. Good night, Joe.